Ray Morris, and you are about to embark on the next Pioneer Knowledge Services Because You Need to Know, a digital resource for you to listen to folks share their experience and knowledge around the field of knowledge management and nonprofit work. If your company or organization would like to help us continue this mission and sponsor one of our shows, email byntk@pioneer-ks.org.
Hi, I'm Dr. Cindy Young, and I'm here today to talk with Edwin Morris. I am here because, well, one, it's a day off for me. I'm working from home, but it's a really short day. I'm intending on trying to read some of my books here. I have a bunch of KM books by Tony Wren, by Patricia Ang, some oldies but goodies. The big thing about where I live is this is where the largest naval base is in the United States, probably in the world, in Norfolk. I live in Chesapeake, but Norfolk's right down the road. It's a great place to see ships and to be a tourist, but I like living here because this is where I retired. I've been traveling. I've been going to conferences, speaking at Lean Six Sigma conferences about knowledge management, been building a workshop. I'm going to build a workshop about brainstorming and mind mapping, but that's the big stuff for me.
Well, welcome back. This is your second time being on Because You Need to Know, and it's awesome to see that you are adding more material, knowledge, and expertise to the field. What is this thing you're talking about, this workshop or this lab that you're talking about building?
I'm building a workshop about brainstorming because I think it's so important that people learn how to brainstorm with a team and how to organize thoughts. I love mind mapping. And I did mind mapping at my last company as part of business capture, where you can take tacit knowledge and explicit knowledge and map it out. And it makes people have a better idea of what they're dealing with. Mind mapping.
Yeah, let's just tell me what a mind map is.
Mind map is start off with a central idea, and then you branch off into other ideas or concepts. You know, you bring people in to talk about stuff they know and then stuff that's written.
Okay.
So you can take that brainstorming, create stuff with it. You can create a business proposal. You can create a paper. You can study with it. A lot of people use it to outline things. A friend of mine, he wrote a book and he started off mind mapping with outline rather than work with the standard stuff we learned in school.
It's a composition tool to get your brain waves working in a way that could result in an excellent product.
Yeah.
I think that what you're saying is that when you combine the efforts of brainstorming, which is a term that I'm not thrilled about because it's like, come on, we can call it something better than that. It's a way to get everybody around the table flowing with ideas because you want to be, and I'll use the word that's floating around everywhere now, inclusive. You want to be inclusive and understand more perspectives.
Right, right. And I started using it because I think people were just relying on, in the business development perspective, people were just relying on resumes, which do not tell the whole picture because people will write a resume to get a job.
Yeah.
They'll keep just 2 pages.
Yep.
And they'll only talk about that job. They're not going to talk about their past jobs other than a little blip. So this is a way of getting people to share what they know, what they've learned at other jobs, and maybe give you some insight that you would have had.
So tell me how that works as a resume supplement. That's an interesting concept.
Well, we used it because when we had a business proposal to go through and I was assigned to do business capture as a collateral, I had no idea who knew what. So I would ask somebody, hey, do you know anything about this company? And I'll go, oh, yeah. Like, well, I didn't see it in your resume. Well, there wasn't room.
Yeah, right.
And so you got to find out, maybe somebody worked with them at this job, but that person, they were only there like a couple months, and it didn't really occur to them that would be important later on. Talk about who you know, what you've done.
Sure.
And these things build up, and where it gives you a really good picture about opportunities.
I like this. You sparked something in my brain already. I'm glad it's early in the morning because I got a long day ahead of me. The cool idea about what you just explained is that you're taking a graphical interpretation of knowledge set on a specific slice of a knowledge set that somebody has experience or coming with them. And you're right. You're never going to know that. And if you don't ask that question, you're never going to know that because it's all in the network of the synapses, right? It's in that brain pan of somebody. So by giving them the opportunity to graphically represent, or I'm using graphic in the idea that a mind map to me is a graphic.
It is.
You can do a pulse check on an individual's knowledge set on a pinpoint topic, create a mind map, and that becomes a profile development tool, searchable, findable, seeable, and usable within an organization to add more depth to the individual, to add more depth and breadth to the individual that is expressed now. It's an expressed artifact. That's exciting.
Yeah. When I developed my first mind map and I showed it to my business unit president, he said, "How did you know to do this?" And I said, "Well, somebody suggested I look at mind mapping."
Yeah.
And I did that, and I'm like, wow. And I put logos on there instead of writing out the names.
Oh, yeah.
We're looking at a contract that we wanted to win. We knew other people were bidding on it in teams, and it saved a lot of room, too, if you just put pictures on it. And people recognize pictures before they recognize names. And then I was able to go, because we were at a small company. The company I was at before had about 500 people at that time. Okay. And so I was able to walk across the hall and talk to people, their experience. They said, "Oh, yeah, I have a guy on my team who knows how to do this." And so I would talk to them. So I just kept it from being stuck in little brain cell of a couple people and started sharing it and started getting people involved in it. And they really liked it. That was actually growing our team. Yeah. While none of us were really assigned to business development, they had to go and ask us to help, because we all had different experiences.
That's a very wonderful concept to build a cultural connection. And I like the idea, if you've got enough brand recognition to go to just logos or to labels that are recognizable, so you don't have to read text, that there is an emotional tie to, like, the emblem for General Electric or Ford Motor Car, or whatever that is. I mean, that's super helpful. When you were talking about that, all I could think of was that in a social network analysis, you're connecting people, that free range ontology, to a degree of showing relationships and connections and nodes and all that happy stuff. But what you're talking about with this layered cake, and I throw in layered cake because I like cake. Believe me, I do like.
Oh, so do I.
If you're gonna ask me what my favorite cake is, it's carrot cake, without a doubt.
Ew.
Carrot cake with walnuts. It has to have walnuts.
Oh.
And what's yours?
Chocolate.
I would not walk away from a chocolate cake. I would suffer through. Well, see, now I'm thinking about cake.
Ontology.
Ontology, yes, thank you. The ontology of cakes. You're really adding some depth that could be easily curated, easily captured, and easily retained, easily used.
Yeah, and it was easy to share, too, because I just did it on PowerPoint. Yeah, because we're a small company, so to get something like Visio or any specific tools, very expensive. Just do PowerPoint, do a slide.
Well, it's a translator to action. It is providing a shortcut to the knowledge to action and usable action. And I love that. Let's shift gears. We've solved that problem. We're perfect. We'll put a bow on that. And let's move on to the future of where you're at with this text that you've produced. Can you tell me something about that?
I can show you too.
All right.
This is the Knowledge Management Memory Jogger. Published by Gold QPC, and they do a lot of memory joggers. They do Lean Six Sigma, they do strategies, they do risk, they talk about ISO. This is just my contribution to it. And last year, I was trying to get a hold of somebody there, and no one would return my emails. And I found out it's a very, very small company. And so I have a friend of mine who published with them, and I said, "Hey, how can I talk to somebody there?" And he connected me. Beauty Network, and I never met this person in real life. It's only been through LinkedIn. Yeah. Love it. I've written the Knowledge Management Memory Jogger. It comes in two sizes, one for people who like to carry around a pocket called a pocket guide, and one for people like me who needs bigger text. So, I honestly, and I did bring some of these to last conference I was speaking at, and a very small amount of people bought them, but still they all bought the bigger size because they are all wearing, like me, I wear trifocals. So,
wait a minute. Are you saying there's no young people in the industry? What are you saying?
I'm saying that a lot of younger people don't recognize the benefit of a memory jogger.
Okay.
So there's all sorts of tools and techniques in here, but primarily it's about how to show people how to use knowledge management in a business context. But there's 10 business departments like finance, learning development, business development, marketing, quality, and project management and so on.
Okay.
And then I tie knowledge sharing, transfer, capture, findability, and storage in there.
Okay.
Talk about conversion very slightly, but I don't get into everything. I don't get into the technology side. I just have, I think, 3 pages talking about that because I'm more of a human-centric knowledge management person.
Yeah.
Like kind of like cat and dog people, there's human and there's technology.
When I've talked to some chief technology officers or those type of folks, and there's a framework there of what I've seen is that there's a certain amount of those that are like, why do I care what the user wants? It's like, they'll follow. Hey, we're going to set the path. We're going to blaze through with this new technology and everybody's just going to do it. Okay. Just as a definitional term, give me an idea for those that may not understand that there's 3 elements to 4 if you count governance, but 3 main elements of knowledge management: people, process, and technology. And you're hanging your hat on the people side. Tell us a little bit about what that means.
Well, to me, it means that you don't have a person in the picture. If you don't take into account the human part of knowledge management, then who's going to make the decisions about how to use that technology? Who's going to tell you what's important in the organization, what the goals are? Because the technology is not going to tell you what the goal of the company, what the mission and the values of it. You're not going to be able to bring a team together using the technology alone. You have to use the insight, the culture. So I just think that, you have a lot better work environment if you also take into account. I'm going to share what I know. In the Navy, we always called it telling sea stories.
Right.
We had the OJT. People always joke about how they learn more on the smoke deck. Well, I didn't smoke, so I was out of that. And I don't golf, so I'm out of that too. But there's a lot to be said about people talking. And I tell everybody, get up and walk around your desk. I have one of my guys who calls me on his phone from his desk, from his teams. Drives me nuts. I get up and walk down there. I'm like, you were calling me? He goes, yeah, I just have something to tell you. I'm like, walk down and tell me. Because I'd much rather have you talk to me than send me an email. Now, emails are very helpful to cover your ass and stuff like that, but I'm all about talking.
I think the overuse of emails and the over-reliance for corporate email communication as an operational component is basically, as you said, it is a audit trail versus like in the military framework, you have orders. You want a paper trail, go look at the orders of what we're supposed to be doing. It's very simple. It's very simplified. Though there are a fair amount of military folks that keep quite a long history of emails to show their trail.
Yeah.
But gosh, if we could just get away from that, because what that does is it fosters that antitrust organizational culture. If I've got to worry about something that you put into an email as proof to whatever, it's like, oh, why am I even here?
Yeah, I much prefer the emails where I have to keep track of the text stuff, what stuff I'm getting installed in our lab, dates I have to do something with another team.
Yeah.
Talking back and forth. I think people get in trouble, actually, when they put too much in email.
I would agree with that, depending on the organization's policy of retention. Absolutely. And here again, it's show me somewhere else in society where we do business by email. Your local synagogue, your church, is everything email oriented anywhere else? No. So why do we make work that laborious? If we could get to a day where an organization says we no longer use email other than this, and this. Otherwise, no more email. The only thing that I recommend to people that still hold on to all those emails, I'm guilty too. You know how they do like in your photo online history now, they're like throwback Thursday, whatever, it's on this day 5 years ago. You're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. I challenge people to just dive into something 10 years ago, 8 years ago, and just see what's there, because it's always like, oh, that's it. It's almost like archaeological dig, digitally, to see what was going on 7, 8 years ago.
I was deleting emails, I think, I've been in this company for like 3.5 years now. And I was deleting stuff that I thought I had to save back then, but now I'm like, why did I keep that? I was deleting a bunch.
And it's cathartic. I will say it lessens the weight on the soul when you can go. It's just like when you've carried around duffel bags or you've moved and carried these boxes of stuff since you were 12. And it's like you finally go through them and I'm like, I don't even remember what this is. What the hell is
I
this?
still have some of those boxes from when I was in the Navy. They still have the packing label on the side, the little colored things saying, what number box it was. But I still have a box of all my ball caps from all my commands. I don't want to throw them out. I looked at them.
Yeah.
I don't want to throw them out, though.
You keep whittling away, right? Over the years, you just keep whittling away. So that's
Yeah.
the challenge I think organizations have to figure out is what's still important and what can we just, as the old military term, DX, what can we just get rid of and be done with? Because it does lighten the load. Not to mention digital memory is always a challenge.
Yes.
In your latest book, can you tell me what your definition of knowledge management is?
It's knowing what to do with the information you have. That's very simple. Knowing what to do with the information you have.
Well, that sounds like wisdom. It's just recognizing, right? You have to be aware to recognize what to do.
Well, I think we've talked about it before. Is for me, knowledge management, we have all those different, over 100 definitions. I tried to make mine very simple. What it is that you have to know what to do with the information you have, whether you share it or transfer it, whether you write it down or whether you just show somebody how to use it. It's all that. If everybody tried to define every single aspect of it, it'd be pages and pages and pages.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there. And I see a lot of time and effort spent going down those rabbit trails trying to do all that. And to what end does that get you?
Nothing.
If you can just quickly summarize that the mission of KM is to make actionable information that helps the mission. Boom, you're done.
Well,
it's that easy.
I have to define it a lot, though, because I have most of my people that I work with are weapons systems and business related, or they're in the Lean and Six Sigma area. I don't really get to talk to a whole lot of knowledge managers on a daily basis. I have to make it where everybody understands it, where I don't get too tech with it or try to sound too smart.
Yeah, and I think that's where a lot of academics get into is that it can easily become overcomplicated. If we go back to Occam's razor concept of sometimes the simplest answer is the best. It doesn't have to be overcomplicated. It really doesn't. But I think the natural human effort is to make things complicated.
I think you're right. Strange enough, I only heard of Occam's razor when I watched an episode of House years ago. So
of course, House would definitely I get
and
it.
that's the only reason I had any clue what you're talking about just now. But
thank God for television, right?
Yes, I know. It's a good thing, but again, you got to make things simple for everybody to understand it.
Well,
you got a lowest common denominator thing.
I think back when I was in the Army, the common framework for all doctrine was at an 8th grade level.
Yeah.
Keep all that language as simple as can be because it just saves time in action-oriented world. Your job and my job is to make KM simple.
And I try to make it enjoyable too.
Okay. It's not the old days of teaching. Now it's a student-centric model versus the authoritarian I'm the teacher model. And I think organizations are starting to hear that and start to think about their workers being the center of the universe versus them. Or the management style, or the architecture.
Well, one of the things I think is fun about knowledge management is when you can bring gamification into it. I created last year for Black Friday. I just kind of got a wild hair, and I decided I was going to create some products. So I created a gamification workbook. Gives people 10 ideas of things they can do because I got inspired because my company, the company I work for, not my company, but for ethics, they make us go on our website and find things. If we do all this stuff, we answer a survey, we get entered for prizes. And let me tell you, this is a big benefit of being at a company of more than 44,000 people. They have good prizes. Because the biggest prize I've won is I won.
It's not like a free cup of coffee, right? Oh, hey, a cup of coffee.
No, but I did win like a Yeti cup. It's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. So in that example, they gamified learning.
Yeah.
By exploring. So they made it a scavenger hunt with prizes.
I mean, that's a good way of telling people what knowledge management is too, because you can tell them, hey, I'm going to go out there and not only do they learn where it is, they learn what it is.
Yeah. That's all exciting. And we could probably continue to discuss things of this global nature for hours. But what would be your best advice to a small organization trying to figure out what knowledge management is?
Well, I would say to start with talking to people and sharing what you know. Don't pull in too many fancy things. Don't look at it as being a high expense, but try to make it where it's enjoyable to share. Have a lunch and learn where people can get together, Pay for that lunch, learn for your people. Don't make your people pay for their own lunch or bring their own lunch in. Have guest speakers so they can share what they know, because people are very proud of what they do. If you bring people in to have them share what they know, then that will help the organization overall.
And I want to add to that is that if someone takes that as a good idea and says, we should try that, don't think it has to be around work.
No.
Like in a true culture of knowledge sharing, it doesn't have to be work specific. If you want to learn and create a culture that is open to sharing and trust building, you're just going to let them share what they think is important.
Yeah.
Within reason, right? You're not going to...
You can talk about hobbies and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep people together.
Things that are fun. Because that can open up a whole new network of connection, because then people start to say, I like that.
And it gets people to say, well, so-and-so likes doing this. Let me go there. Maybe they'll want to do this.
Building those contextual nodules of connection.
Relationship building. Well, because, being military, you have friends in the military that you can probably reach back to any time.
All right, my friend. Well, thank you very much for being here, and good luck with the conference attendance and the rollout of this new text.
I hope people like it.
You have just finished our latest Because You Need to Know, a public service of Pioneer Knowledge Services. Please join us on LinkedIn and find us at pioneer-ks.org.